Hi guys, look who I have back. Well, we're in it for a good, I think are we 11 weeks out or 12 weeks out, coach?
We are 11.
11 weeks out. Okay, so welcome. This is a special series on the Get Crystallized show. For those of you who don't know me or Coach Janae, you are absolutely new to the group, and perhaps you're listening to this podcast. I am your host, Coach Crystal, and like crystals, rather. Strong women are made under pressure. And talk about pressure that Coach Janae and I are in right now. We're literally 11 weeks out from stepping onto the professional fitness competition stage. So, what I've called the series is there. I don't know, for all my bodybuilder, people out there who follow that world, those that are qualified for the Olympia, you'll see a lot of them call their journey Road to the O, and ours is Road to Pro. So
Yes.
that's what I have entitled the series, because both Coach Janae and I will be stepping onto the professional stage on November 11th. And over the next 11 weeks, we're going to be sharing not only our experience, but for example, today, our topic is 3 tips to develop self-discipline and master consistency. Because regardless if you are trying to get onto a fitness competition stage or not, if your goal is to release body fat, is to stay healthy, you have to be self-disciplined. It comes with the territory when it comes with a healthy lifestyle and being consistent. And so that is our topic today, because as athletes on
Mhm.
the R3 team, I mean, we must, in order to, bring the very best package on that stage. And if you haven't listened to the very first episode of this series, go back to last week. All of my ladies, did you not know that this is also a podcast? Yes, it is. It's called The Get Crystallized Show, and you can make sure that you subscribe on Spotify and Apple. And last week, our very first kind of opener to this whole series was why Coach Janae and I compete. And in order to achieve that why, for us to step onto the stage, in order for you to lose the weight and never find it again, you have to master self-discipline and consistency. So I'm going to just jump right in, and then Coach Janae, like, I'd love for you to share your input and personal experience. Tip number 1, to developing self-discipline and mastering consistency is something we teach within the Fit Beyond 40 fat loss program, is a developing a non-negotiable, keyword non-negotiable, morning and evening routine.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, we have so many things going on. Us, working professional women with households and kids and spouses and pets and all the things, the middle part of our day, a lot of the times we don't have control over what happens. But what we want to do to stay self-disciplined and consistent is we want to try to kind of stack all of the habits for us to, live out this healthy lifestyle in the morning and the evening, and bookend our days with accomplishments. Okay. And so, not only that, in order to live a healthy lifestyle, it really truly begins, yes, with a good night's sleep for sure, but also a positive mindset. If you wake up, like, let me ask you, right? Do you wake up saying, "Good morning, God"? Or do you wake up saying, "Good God, it's morning," right? Which mindset do you think will follow through with the workouts, will follow through with the meal prepping, will follow through with drinking your water and all of the self-care practices? So you want to start off your morning with a positive mindset. And when we look at, there's 3 pillars of health that we follow with our students, what we teach in our program, and that revolves around the mindset, the fitness, and nutrition. And so the mindset component, when it comes to your morning ritual, could look like as soon as your feet hit the floor, just rattle off things that you are grateful for. Thank you, Lord, for a good night's rest. Thank you, Lord, for, a roof over my head. Thank you, Lord, that I have, you know, limbs to even move. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with the next breath. That's already priming you to be in a really positive, blessed state, because you cannot be stressed, anxious, or fearful if you are filled with gratitude. So, mindset is the first place to start. And I personally love to listen to, whether it be a personal development podcast or a sermon. Dr. Charles Stanley is someone who I like to wake up to. John Piper. There's some really like amazing, pastors that I love to listen to, or personal development. Lisa Nichols, Brendan Burchard, you know, Tony Robbins. The list is really lengthy. Eric Thomas. And so while I'm brushing my teeth, I like to fill my mind with all that is true. So instead of turning on the news, I listen to these podcasts that fill me, that nourish me. And then immediately, personally, I make my coffee and off I go get my workout in. Right. And so right there. And then after my workout, I have my first meal. So there's my mindset. Check. There is my fitness. Check. There's my nutrition. What about you, Coach Janae? What does your morning ritual look like?
It's very similar, right? Like, and I mean, that's just proof to the pudding of like what we learn and what we practice, right? Like, so we talk about this for all of our members to do, and that's because we do it as well, right? So very similarly, like I like peace and quiet and solitude when I first wake up. And of course I have pets. So part of that is having a nice long walk in the morning. Right. And it can be very peaceful, of course, right? It depends on the neighborhood and the time of day, but that early in the morning, like nobody else is up. That is a nice time where I can reflect and set myself up for the day. I review kind of like internally in my head what my checklist is to accomplish in the day. Okay, today's going to be upper body, and I'm gonna, it's going to be a morning workout, or maybe it's going to be an afternoon, or maybe it's an evening workout, because the day is always kind of weird. But at least that way, I'm setting myself up, and I'm reminding myself my checklist or my to-dos, the things that I need to have done. Very similar to like when you approach your work day, you have certain things that you want to have done. I do the same thing, but in my entire day in its entirety, right? So got to make protein buns today, got to do this today, right? So I will have that list of things that I know I need to do, so that when I specifically encounter kind of like one of those variable type of days where everything changes on the fly, I'm not so caught off guard. Right? Like I know what's flexible and I know what I can move, because I've set myself up in the morning. I've set my intentions. These are the things that I'm going to accomplish. And just like Coach Crystal said, like non-negotiable routines, like my list is, my top priority is my non-negotiables. These are the things that will get done no matter what. And so I like to remind myself, but I like the peace and the quiet, and walking the dogs is very helpful when I get to do that. And that really just kind of sets me up. And then, of course, when I come back, if it's a workout morning, then I can immediately get into my workout clothes. The animals are taken care of. I don't have anything else to worry about. I can get that done. And either it's at the gym or a home workout, whatever that looks like. And then I'm ready to start work afterwards. Right. And my mental checklist is like me reviewing my journal from last night. Like that is how connected I try to keep it. And of course, again, when there's changes and variables and things, but I can move with that because I've set my intentions and I know my non-negotiables that need to happen in the day.
I love that. I have to also, one point that is very beneficial for you, because you have to go outside with your pets, is that immediately you're exposed to sunlight, which is one of the best ways to wake up, and that helps your circadian rhythm as well. So if you can, and like I don't have pets, so depending on if there is sun when I wake up, I'll just have my black coffee and sit on my porch for like 5-10 minutes, do some deep breathing. Like I agree with you, Coach Janae. Like if it's to be able to just kind of sit and quiet before the craziness of the day is really good, and to have that sun on your face, like we all need vitamin D, is awesome. And I love that you're absolutely right that it ties into the evening ritual, and we'll talk about that now. So one thing that Coach Janae mentioned is that she already prepared herself mentally the night before, and that is key. So that, because I'd love to know, put in the comment box if you have disrupted sleep because there's a million things going on in your mind. So there's a couple of things that we do, that we teach within our Fit Beyond 40 fat loss program, where because evening routines and sleep is so important, especially for women over 40. And if your primary goal is to release body fat, we want to have and set ourselves up for the best sleep possible. So if you are like just overwhelmed with anxious thoughts, there's two ways to go about it. I love one of the ways that Coach Janae mentioned is literally writing down your list for the following day. And so it's out of your mind. Don't think about it. It's on paper, release it and leave it there. Now, if there is kind of like anxious feelings, overwhelming feelings, I recommend what we recommend our students and clients to do within our program is literally do a 1-minute brain dump. So literally put pen to paper, turn your alarm on for 1 minute, and just write out everything that is bothering you, something that happened earlier in the day and is just like, or something that need to deal with the next day. Write it all down. Literally, alarm goes off, like don't even think about it, just write it all down. And then once that alarm goes off, take that piece of paper, shred it, and throw it in the trash as a symbol of, I release it now, because there is nothing that you can do with those things that you wrote on paper while your head is on your pillow. Okay. So that's kind of a way to flush out, those anxious thoughts. So journaling, for me, meditation and prayer. This is also something that we teach our students to do, is read at least 10 pages of a book before you go to sleep, instead of, and I know, like, no offense, you Kindle people, but it's so much better. Like, the smell of like real books. It's good, good. It's good, guys. And Coach Janae as well, like our books are highlighted and underlined and ear leaf because we really like chew on what we learn. And it's one of the best ways to honestly tire out your eyes. And hopefully, whether you're reading like verses from the Bible or you're reading something that's personal development and it's again fueling you, you're going to bed with these, really kind of healthful thoughts as opposed to anxious thoughts. And that's, especially if it's the word, like you're reading the truth, and that's what you'll be marinating in for the next hopefully 7 to 8 hours, as opposed to all of those anxious thoughts. So, and also I just wanted to mention that, we recommend our students, depending on their weight, drinking anywhere between 64 to 96 ounces of water. Now, I would start kind of like weaning off the water like 2 to 3 hours before, because if you wake up several times a night to, go number one, then that's maybe because you've been drinking a little too close to bed. So, kind of, stop drinking your liquids maybe 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. Your last meal is also 3 hours before you go to bed. So that way you're not like spending those hours digesting, and you're really using those hours for your muscles to rest and restore and build. That's where we build muscles, girls. It's not in the gym, actually. It's not under the bar. It's actually when you sleep. That's when you're repairing. And so eating 3 hours before you've had your last meal, you're not drinking anymore, water or liquids. You've turned off all of your devices. You've maybe did a brain dump and journaling, and you prayed, meditated, and now you're finishing off your night with a good book. That is a really healthy night routine. Anything else you would add to that, Coach Janae?
No, but I do second like the devices. And I would add to that in terms of, and we talked about this a little bit last time too, any of the light that's in your room, right? Like either find a way to cover it if you can't, fully turn it off, or, sleep with the night mask. And as awkward as it may seem, like, oh, I could never sleep with something wrapped around my head, you'd be surprised how comfortable it is. Find one that's really good for you. I like mine scented with a little bit of lavender, right? And I can put a little lavender pouch under my pillow. I know it sounds like old lady-ish, but
No. I'm about that life. Okay, Coach Nelson, my husband, I spray my pillow. And
yeah.
he's like, ah. He's like, that's gross. Stay away from me. And I'm like, but it puts me to sleep.
Lovely.
He doesn't understand, right?
Yes,
I know. I'm
yes.
about that life. I
Yes.
get you, Coach Janae.
Yes, that's what I would add. Like anything that puts you in that state and helps to kind of like get you ready for bed. And that might look a little bit different to everybody, but blocking out the light, number one, anything sensory that you can do to your environment. So think like scents, sight, like noise, right? Like I have a fan just constantly kind of humming. It's that white noise, right? So think about setting your space up as like that, the right sensory to get a really good night's sleep, right? To put you to sleep quickly and keep you asleep, right?
You're absolutely right. And when we talk about, waking up first thing with the sun, the turning off all lights that are above your sight line and just having like dim lights also tells your body, okay, it's time to rest. And so I literally have like a scarf over my lamp to make it even more dim. And so we have like our lamps are low, that are on either side of our bed. We have the blackout curtains, like you said, and I also have a what is it, humidifier, or what are those called? And you put the oil in there, and then it's
a diffuser.
Diffuser. Thank you very much. And talk about lavender or peppermint, whatever like soothes you. Like I'll put a few drops in my diffuser, couple sprays on my pillow, and I agree. I'm getting sleepy, right? So,
and because you built that routine, you kind of told your brain those are the signals that you're waiting for to get ready for bed, right? So it's not even like, oh, this is a very comforting smell, it puts me to sleep because of some kind of chemical reaction. Like I built the habit in the routine. My body associates that smell with getting ready for bed, right?
Yes.
The same thing that a lot of people talk about with the white noise. They just like, as soon as they hear it, they're out. They've passed out because they've associated, their brain has that connection of this is sleep time now, right? So no matter what, like it's sleepy time, right?
I love it. And so speaking of time, our second tip to mastering, self-discipline and consistency is, and it ties in with our nightly and evening ritual, is book these appointments with yourself in your Google Calendar. So, we meet so many women who come to us and they're like, I want to lose weight, this and this and that, but they don't have the habits to support this goal that they have. And so what we teach our, clients and students is from your nightly ritual, morning ritual, the times that you eat, meal timing, that's another whole like episode that we're going to talk about. When you're going to eat, when you're going to prep your food, when you're going to do your workouts, plug all of those appointments into your Google Calendar, especially if you're trying to build this consistent routine and habits. A lot of women say, I'm so random with my workouts. I don't have time to meal prep. I'm so busy the whole day and then I binge eat at night. So one of the ways to combat that is literally to book these appointments. And I always say, and Coach Janae, I know you agree, is that these are the most important appointments that you have because they're with you and your health. And without your health, what good are you, right? How are you going to serve? How are you going to love? How are you going to, do all the things, whether it's your deadlines at work, taking care of your kids, taking care of your pets, taking care of your spouse, whatever it may be, how are you going to do it if you are not well?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like my Google Calendar is all, you know, back to back to back to back appointments. But the most important ones in there are my workouts and when I eat. What about you, Kushane?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the first things that get plugged in there in my calendar will absolutely be my workouts, and even if like every Wednesday at 6:15 it happens, like it's still in there, right?
Yeah.
Like even for 2 years, this is exactly the same day, the same time. It doesn't matter. Like it always goes in. This way too. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but sometimes I'm like, what day is it? Right? And it's so easy to get caught up with everything else that's happening. It's a really simple, easy reminder. Like this is what I have going on. Sometimes I need to change appointment. Oh, I got to do my hair this day and, go for this appointment this day. I know how I can flex and fit everything in because all of those key important appointments are already in my calendar. So I work my life around that. Right. So, but that's because I've set those appointments as my priorities. Right. So conversely, like people could put their hair appointment as their priority and everything gets built around that. Right. So for me, like my workouts are a priority. So everything gets built around that. And then secondary will be, and because like I save like meal prepping to like quieter days that may not have a lot of things going on, whether that's work or just, in my personal life, like maybe it's a beach day, right? Like I know how I can flex all of that. And I will say that for me, and I know different anxiety levels when you look at a calendar will happen when you see like the back to back to back. So for me, like if it's too condensed, if I have like every hour, like for me, that's high anxiety. For me, even if I have everything, something for every hour, I need the peace and calm to see, okay, I've got some gaps, right? And so I will also leave the gaps for my own, mental health time, if that makes any sense, right? So, and I will treat those as appointments. I just don't block them in my calendar, right? So that I don't stress myself out about like, oh my gosh, I got to run to this and run to that. And right. Like these are, okay, this is my chill time. I get to breathe. I'm going to catch up on something else. Like that's my free time, my flexible time. So I would say while my appointments are very important, my flexible time and my peace time is also very important. And I'll kind of leave myself time and gaps in my calendar to give myself that. And that's okay. My important ones are scheduled in and they have a spot and they don't move, right? They are what they are, right?
I hope you girls, caught that the key thing that Coach Janae said is that she makes those appointments with herself, aka her workouts, her priority, right? So we hear so many women, oh, I didn't have time to work out because of fill in the blank. Oh, I didn't have time to work out because of fill in the blank. And it's just like, okay, well, what you're telling yourself is that you are not a priority.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly breaking promises to yourself. That appointment is a promise to you that your health is important. So when you repeat that, rinse and repeat, your subconscious is believing that you don't want to get healthy, actually. It's, Mel Robbins says something really profound. She says, if you need motivation to do the thing that you said was important to you, then what you said was important to you is really not that important. Like Coach Janae and I don't rely on motivation. This is just is. We're athletes. Yes, we're hitting the stage, but this is also our identity. And it's like Coach Janae just said, this has been her routine for the past 2 years, plus.
Yeah.
So, this is where you have to go back to last episode, your why,
Yeah.
and build your schedule around that why is really important. So I need to make these appointments and they are my number one priority. Everything else will be built around that. So really
Exactly.
great
And
point.
like nothing gets taken away.
Yeah.
I still get done everything else that every other woman my age and my career level, like everything else that needs to get done. I still have to work. I still have a household to run. I still have chores. Everything else still gets done. right? So the ask is not that you are sacrificing like, oh, well, now I don't get this family time, or I have to skip out on this activity to do my workout. That's not what it is at all. Because we have planned it properly and in advance and prepared our day, I can now more effectively and efficiently use my time throughout the day. And I still get the gaps in my day that I need to just rejuvenate and just be like, oh, I don't have to run anywhere right now. I can just sit here. If I just want to sit here and stare out my window for 20 minutes, that's what I'm going to do. But like it's scheduled in, right? So I want to make sure that nobody thinks that, like you have to sacrifice something to get your priority in. That's not it at all. You need to build around your priority.
Perfect segue, Coach Janae, because our third tip to building, self-discipline and mastering consistency is, shifting your mindset and renaming those habits, right? So one thing that Coach Janae just said was that, sacrifice, like that word, man, it just kind of makes you feel like, oh, like there's so much I have to sacrifice just to get my workouts in, just to like I have to sacrifice time with my kids. I have to sacrifice time with my husband. It's not about that. So what we teach and our students is rename that habit or ritual that you're trying to build. So for example, we will ask our students, right? Our clients, well, how do you feel after you work out? And they'll say things like rejuvenated, accomplished, strong. So now in their Google Calendar, instead of putting workouts, they'll put strong time, time to feel rejuvenated, time to feel accomplished. And now they're looking at those rituals and habits to attain that weight loss goal, fat loss goal, strength goal. They look at that habit as a privilege and a blessing rather than a sacrifice and a chore. And so now they approach, these habits with like, I love this. And so many of our clients and students, they come to us saying like, oh, I hate working out. Like, I don't like it. But now I know Coach Janae is a witness to it too, where they feel off now if they don't work out.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing because now, again, working out is a part of who they are, their identity. And this is how we develop that sustainable, the key word is sustainable lifestyle. Anything you want to add on to that, Coach Janae?
I agree. I love that. And plus too, when you have your Google Calendar full of like this meeting and that meeting and this meeting, and like seeing something that is personal and makes you feel good, whether that's your strong time or your me time, like it's really something to like look forward to, right? A day of meetings, and then I get, like my me time, like that helps me get through those meetings, right?
Yes.
Like it's something to look forward to. So like naming it something that is positive and encouraging and exciting to get to is also very, very helpful and keeps you kind of like high energy throughout the day if it's towards the end of the day, right? And even like, I know it sounds silly, but like I put like nighttime blocks in my calendar, right?
Absolutely.
And I'll get the little signal on my watch, like time to prepare for bed.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. I'm like, yay, it's time to prepare for bed.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, everyone. Yeah, exactly.
See, and that's the thing. When you shift your mindset and look at all of the habits and routines surrounding a healthy lifestyle, you will enjoy it. You will look forward to it. You will miss it if for some reason you're unable to, to accomplish it. But all of that to say, quickly recap, in order to develop self-discipline and master consistency, number one, make sure that you have non-negotiable morning and evening routines to sandwich the craziness of the day, right? Number two is book your appointments into your schedule, your your meals when you're going to eat, your workouts, and then lastly, rename them in your Google Calendar. So whether it's me time, energizing time, fueling time, breathing time, feeling accomplished time, that way when you approach and you look at your schedule, you're like, yes, I just got to get through these next 3 meetings, and then I get me time, I get breathing time, I get
Exactly.
energy time. And you look at it as though you have something to look forward to, as opposed to like, oh God, I have to do my workout, as opposed to something that you dread and is
Yes.
a chore. You look at it as a blessing. So
Mm.
I think, Coach Janae, since we touched upon it and we keep like dropping little, hints and tips about really good sleep, I think that's what next week's episode should be about,
Sure.
because you and I both know that sleep is so important for us.
Mhm.
Especially because we're stepping onto that stage, it completely affects our body composition. And for you, if you are, wanting to release weight and you've hit a plateau, I want to maybe challenge you. What is your sleep? What does it look like? And we will talk about the importance of sleep, more helpful tips, especially for all of my ladies that are in the menopause transition, hot flushes, and all. And we'll give you different ideas and supplementations and recommendations and more practical tools to get a good night's rest. So I think that will be a really, really good topic because
For sure.
it's so important. So,
Yeah. I
Cushionae,
think
this
we
was
both
a
love
good
it
one.
so much.
I know we love sleep. Listen, okay, Coach Janae knows me so well. Last year for my birthday, she got me a shirt that said the Queen of Naps. That is
Yep.
this girl right here. Okay, I
Exactly.
am napping queen. Like I really am. I love sleep so much. I really do. Ask my husband. There is not a day that goes by, even if we're at a party. I'm like, I will excuse myself from the party. I've done this from the party. I'll find a bedroom and I will nap because girlfriend needs her nap. If you want a nice, energetic, friendly person, I need to sleep. So I'll excuse myself from the party. I'll take my 20, 30-minute nap, and we'll talk about lengths of naps too. I think that's also something we can talk about as well. But Coach Janae, as always, I love you. I love the fact that we are doing this journey together. And, and we're sharing obviously so many amazing tips for all of you listeners to help you in your journey as well. So
Mhm.
thank you.
Awesome. You are welcome. Love you
Thank
too.
you so, so much. And we'll see you guys next time on the Get Crystallized Show, The Road to Pro. Bye, everybody.